Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to my YouTube channel. The name of the YouTube channel is Whiskey in My Garden. I can't stress this enough because, as you know, there's someone out there using the name of the channel, the name of the Instagram channel as Whiskey Utazas, but don't follow them, follow me, Whiskey in My Garden, and let's get right to it. I don't want to waste any time because sometimes a drink comes along that ends up on the table that I don't even know if it truly needs any kind of elaborate signboard or a particularly big, lengthy introduction or anything quite like that. I will, however, say a few pertinent things about it, but in any case, just take a very close look at this remarkable item. This is the truly impressive Bruichladdich Octomore 15.1 version with a precise 108.2 parts per million and practically a true marvel, meticulously crafted with an almost unbelievable 60% strength, boasting an alcohol content that perfectly matches its robust character. That's the essence of it, encapsulated perfectly in a nutshell. I'll enthusiastically grab it very quickly without hesitation because I genuinely believe it's simply fantastic, truly brilliant, the absolutely stunning and captivating way this bottle looks, its unique and eye-catching design. With its inherent simplicity, its absolute perfection, and the profound way it truly sends us a powerful and undeniable message. Please stop, take a moment to pay close attention, because this is something entirely and totally different from what you're accustomed to, and you genuinely have to reflect deeply on whether the fundamental kinds of cherished traditions that once profoundly existed in the intricate art of whiskey making are still genuinely alive and thriving today, whether people still truly think, whether we still reflect on them, or if the whole thing needs to be reconsidered and redefined. There is a relatively young distillery. This is the Octomore line from Bruichladdich, which started to rethink whiskey making from the Isle of Islay, and they launched a project that the Scots said didn't fit the mold, or these things simply can't be done, or they are pushing boundaries and exploring areas that go beyond certain traditional practices. One example is that these Octomore bottles were aged for only 5 years. In the tradition of Scottish whiskey making, even though technically you can call it whiskey after 3 years, the drink itself, most non-age statement whiskies, typically spend around 7 to 8 years in the barrel, and then a distillery comes out and says, this is aged for 5 years, and that's what we want to offer. 5 years of aging, now pay attention, and there's a unit of measurement for pettiness called ppm. This ppm measurement, which precisely indicates the specific amount or the precise level of peat content present in a single unit of whiskey that can be accurately measured. And just for a clear comparison, a well-known Lagavulin 16-year-old or a classic Talisker 10-year-old typically has a ppm, which stands for parts per million, between 20 and 30. This particular whiskey, however, boasts an exceptionally high ppm content of 108. The number 108.2, often written as 108.2, consists of an integer part 108 and a fractional part 2/10 or 0.2. This means it is 108 whole units plus an additional 2/10 of a unit. Oh my goodness, this is truly astonishing, an utterly unbelievable turn of events that has left me completely speechless. My mind is reeling, trying to comprehend the sheer magnitude of what has just transpired before my very eyes. This is beyond anything I could have ever imagined or anticipated. It's simply astounding, a moment that will surely be etched into my memory forever. How can this even be possible? It's just wow. It's a change in perspective that they started thinking outside the box and created a monster. Such a monster. I tasted the drink yesterday or the day before, and I didn't wash the glass right away. I left it, and even 2 days later, the glass I tasted it from still had such a strong peaty aroma that it was absolutely incredible. Ha 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 ha. Mind blowing. It really is. Just a little bit more about it. I mentioned that it has been aged for 5 years, and two types of barrels were used. Both are bourbon barrels, but one is a first fill bourbon barrel, while the other is a re-charred bourbon barrel that was charred again, and this time charred more deeply. As we've previously discussed and explored, whiskey essentially becomes the distinct spirit we know as whiskey, primarily because of the barrel, to put it very simply and concisely. The barrel profoundly determines its ultimate color, its intricate flavor profile, its inherent sweetness, its delightful caramel notes, the subtle vanilla notes, and for example, if a bourbon barrel is specifically used in the meticulous making of the whiskey, then because of the bourbon barrel, you can be absolutely sure that the whiskey will have delightful flavors like sweet vanilla, warm gingerbread, and rich caramel. The stronger the charring of the interior of the barrel, the more incredibly intense this caramel flavor becomes, and generally the darker the resulting color. But since this is only a 5-year aging, the relatively short 5-year aging, and with this particular type of careful aging, the exquisite drink truly has a very beautiful, rich, and appealing color. So absolutely, 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 I really, really, truly like it very much. Let's carefully check the delightful aroma, shall we? It's very interesting and quite remarkable that for me the distinct scent hits my nose all at once this nighttime, and the peaty aroma, and it creates a really good balance. So if I think about it, if this bottle has 5 or 6 times the peatiness of, say, a Talisker, then I would expect the peatiness to just completely hit you in the face or smack you right in the nose. But I have to say it doesn't. It's in a very good balance. This myself utterly and completely trapped by the overwhelming assault on my senses. The initial taste is profoundly and intensely peaty, a deep, earthy, and smoky sensation that fills my mouth. And as incredibly strong and dominant as this peatiness is, it is, quite astonishingly, just as wonderfully and lusciously sweet, a rich, lingering sweetness that balances the intensity. I truly have to confess, these two incredibly distinct and powerful flavors are not merely playing with my mind. They are actively captivating and driving me into a state of delightful confusion and profound sensory exploration, while at the same time there's a barrel strength we're talking about. So a third aspect comes into play. On one hand, there's a very strong sweetish flavor, which is the effect of the sherry casks, and on the other hand, an incredible peatiness floods the mouth, like when a wave crashes back onto the shore against the rocks. You know, that feeling like this, as it comes powerfully toward the shore and then basically crashes back. Well, that's the rich, earthy peat. And then, as a third and very distinct impulse, the robust barrel strength truly arrives, and you absolutely have to deal with these 3 very distinctive, incredibly strong, and quite impactful elements. Wow, this is a really tough, profoundly masculine thing, and I mean that in the absolutely best and most admirable sense of the word. Truly a remarkable experience. It's genuinely hard for me to truly imagine, but of course, individual tastes and personal preferences naturally differ quite significantly. But this, wow, this truly is something profoundly, exceptionally deep, or I don't know what immediately comes to my mind right now, though this is just a free association, a spontaneous thought, and who knows precisely how much verifiable truth there is to it. But it absolutely calls for a very deep and intensely meaningful conversation, or a profound, extended contemplation. This drink, for me, of course, for someone who is used to this, who can handle it steadily, for them, this is like a holiday. The drink is very interesting. I have to say, for anyone who likes whiskey, it's worth trying this at least once, because it's an incredible experience. And listen, it's really strange. As I'm talking, I can feel the peatiness flowing, that it's pouring out of my mouth, and I can sense the peaty aroma of my mouth coming back through my nose. It's really intense. I don't know what kind of cigar would go with this, Right now, I've chosen the Dicky from Rocky Patel, but this is so peaty, so powerfully present that I really don't know what kind of cigar you could pair with it that isn't your favorite. My favorite cigar. That's why I chose it, though it might not be the best pairing for this, but yeah. By the way, what just came to my mind is that I also started thinking about foods, like what kind of dish I could imagine with this drink. And for example, I could totally see it with oysters. If there were a big plate of oysters here, and then you could drizzle a little bit of this with some butter spirit on top, I would really, truly enjoy that. I think it would be such a truly good thing. Absolutely, absolutely. That's precisely what I think. Well, let me tell you, the overall appearance is absolutely brilliant. It totally won me over, for sure, without a doubt. I rarely, indeed very rarely, come across it, I have to say. Maybe because of the price point, and I'm not really a fan of intensely peaty drinks, but this one is absolutely brutal. So really, it's quite exceptional. Really, if you're a whiskey lover, a fan, I don't know, I think it's worth trying at least once. It's an incredible experience. Thank you so much for joining me again today. If you can, please share the content, like it, and follow me if you haven't already. I post content twice a week. One is a short one and the other is a longer talk. If you can, have some whiskey today as well, and cheers.